Welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to talk about how the narcissist sees the world. And believe me, it's scary. It's scary. And the reason why this matters is I don't think a lot of people, even people who have gone through this, I don't think they understand the true difference between the way we view reality and we view the world and the way that the narcissist does. Because it really couldn't be any more different. And I want to tell you up front, I am one of those people who falls in the camp. Although I did not used to, I now fall in the camp more towards the side of saying the narcissist lives in a very delusional state of existence more than they just plot every single thing they ever do down to the letter. Do you know the amount of planning and knowledge and things it would take for the narcissist to actually premeditate everything they ever do? It would be impossible. It would literally be impossible. They can triangulate on command, on a whim. They can go silent out of nowhere. They can fabricate a problem out of absolutely thin air. They can do these things as second nature. It's like they're breathing. So, does this mean the narcissist doesn't ever know what they're doing, that they don't intentionally do evil things, that they don't scheme? No, of course they do. But what I'm saying is, I am more toward the camp of believing the narcissist lives in a very hyper delusional state, especially as they get older and time goes on. And so they're not even thinking of things the same way that we do at all. So that's what I'm trying to say. So let me talk a little bit about some of the ways this happens. The narcissist, first and foremost, you have to understand, operates out of selfishness. They do everything for their own purposes. They literally go through the world with tunnel vision. They just simply don't see the things around them most of the time. They have so little care, concern for what is going on in your life or someone else's life. That means just almost nothing to them unless it affects them directly. That's why they can leave on a whim. They can fail to text you back on a whim. They can build something up and disappear. They are just like this. They're very, very flighty people. And the reason why they're so flighty, and you've probably noticed that, is because their level of care for anything outside of themselves is extremely low. I'm not going to say zero. I'm not going to say they don't care at all about their kids or at all about anyone ever. It's just very low. What is the number one thing we all know about narcissists? Maybe their most defining characteristic outside of their selfishness, it's that they just don't have empathy. It's very low on the spectrum. So you have to understand, you might as well view the narcissist as walking through life with blinders on to where things on the peripheral, they don't exist. It's just this. Everything points back at them. They are at all times concerned with taking care of themselves, their needs, their wants, their desires. That is not something that they sit back and consciously decide to do every second of every day. They develop that sort of personality as time goes on by being selfish, by choosing the wrong path, by doing people wrong, by little in increments. So that when you met the narcissist, good chance by that time, they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. They've been operating that way for a very long time. So they also think that people operate the same way they do. See, that's a mistake we make. Oftentimes we think the narcissist operates the way we do. They don't. The narcissist thinks that we operate the way they do. They think that, and that's not true either. See, it's wrong on either side. If the narcissist thinks we do what they do, they're wrong. If we think the narcissist operates the way we do and with the same mindset, we're wrong. They don't. They think that everybody uses everybody. They think everyone's out to get what they can get for themselves and take care of themselves and cover themselves because that's what they do. Do you understand this? They assume everyone does things for the same reasons they do them, which is primarily to take care of me, myself, I. This is why, just as an example, at the end of the situation I was in with the narcissist, she was just dead set on the idea that I had this other person, that I was seeing somebody else. I mean, you could not possibly convince her otherwise. Now, why does she think that? Let me tell you, was it because I had someone else on my phone? Was it because she caught me doing something? Was it because I was doing anything with anybody? Nope. No, nothing of the sort. Never would have happened. Here's why. The simple fact that I was breaking up with her and leaving the situation, that indicated immediately to her that I was absolutely seeing someone else. Now think about why that would be. You already know the answer. I already told you. She thought that, no. She knew that in her innermost being because she knows she would never leave anybody without having somebody else in place. If the narcissist assumes you're going to cheat on them, they assume you're doing things out of self-preservation, that you're going to screw them over, so they actually want to get to you first. This is why they mostly all cheat. And they do it partially, just partially, so they can know they got to you, they got to it first before you. They beat you to it. You're not going to wrong me before I wrong you. You kidding me? You're not going to cheat on me before I cheat on you. Because in their warped mind, they assume everybody does the same things they do. They operate every day in, day out with this mindset. They want to beat you to the punch. They want to be the first to the finish line. They're also always subconsciously competing with you. Now, again, do I think they sit back and they think, oh, I'm going to try to compete with them. I need to compete. No. It's just their nature. They don't want anyone to have something better than them. They don't want anyone to be more successful than them. They don't want you to look better than them. They don't want you to be better than them. They don't want any of this stuff. They want to make more money than you. They want to have a better house than you. They want to have a better life than you. They want to have everything better than you. Most of the time, they don't have any of that better than you. But that's what they want. So everything's a competition. Everything is this way of one-upping everyone. Another thing the narcissist believes, and you best trust me that they do, and I have literally heard this verbatim from the narcissist and in myriad ways from other ones. And it's a very simple thing. To them, all relationships, all individuals, all situations, all things are basically seen as temporary. They know they're not going to last. They don't anticipate them lasting. They don't even go into things with the idea that they would last and succeed. They don't think of it that way. They don't think, oh, we're going to love each other forever. We're going to build up a relationship. We're going to have a home and a family. And this is for the long run. This is the long haul. That never occurs to the narcissist. They don't believe in that stuff at all. Mainly because they know their experience. They know what they do. They know they'll sabotage it, and they always do, and they always will. But go back to my first points. They also believe you're going to sabotage it. If they don't, you're going to do it, because everybody does what they do. But I could characterize this particular point with one thing the narcissist told me. This was in the middle of a wicked fight that she created. Of course, I wanted nothing to do with fights. I want nothing to do with any of this stuff ever. But she starts it out of nowhere. Don't even remember what it was. I'm, of course, trying to talk her off the ledge. I'm trying to right all the wrongs and be the peacemaker and all this stuff because that's what we do. And she looks at me with a stone cold face. That the gray eyes. Her eyes would almost go gray. You've heard people say they're black, and I know that happens. I've seen that before too. But hers would go like pale gray, lifeless almost. And she looked at me, Brian, people are disposable. They're disposable. She meant it with every fiber of her being. In other words, nothing lasts, nothing ever works. Nobody's really that special. I'm not really going to make it work with anybody. Everyone is just replaceable. I can get rid of a person like I'm taking off my socks. My level of care, it's just not that deep. It's not that deep. That's the narcissist. And you might think to yourself, well, just because the narcissist told you that doesn't mean they all feel that way. Please, please. They all feel that way. That is part and parcel of being a narcissist. And I told you why. There's a lot of reasons, but their care level is not very deep. They don't view anyone as that special, as that different, as that unique. Maybe in the idolizing, love bombing stage for a little bit, they kind of fake themselves out. They kind of gaslight themselves into thinking this is the greatest, best. That we all know that doesn't last long. The minute you do anything the narcissist doesn't like, anything, well, you've lost favor. You're imperfect. You're not flawless any longer. And they start to pick and pick and peck all over you. That's how it always goes. There is no exception to that rule. So on that note, if you think for even the slightest split second that the narcissist has found somebody better, it's working, we just weren't a good match, but the narcissist found someone who is a good match, you're wrong. I promise you with every fiber of my being, you are wrong as wrong can be because they don't care about anyone that way. They don't see anything like that. Everything is transactional. Everything is to get them to the next step of their life, the next stage, the next platform. But they don't view any person as singularly unique. And I'll have people tell me, well, that's not true. Narcissists might see other narcissists as special. They keep going back to each other. Okay, well, why do you think sometimes narcissists have this back and forth, ongoing, on-off relationship with other narcissists? Why do you think that? Is it because they care about that person more? Is it because there's a deep affection? No. It's because it's a toxic entanglement. There's a high level of toxicity between them. They love the push-pull, high-low, up-down, fighting, chaotic life. But it has nothing to do with that person. They don't care one lick about that person any more than they do you or anybody else. And that doesn't necessarily mean, as I said at the beginning, that there aren't some stages to how much they might care. They're still capable of caring some, depending on what level they're on, what part of the spectrum. But if you think that there are particular individuals that they love and they just can't live without, no, they don't. They're going back and hanging around them for some reason that's ultimately self-serving. And they love the chaos. They love the drama, the turmoil. They can't live in peace and stability. So that's why there might be this on-again, off-again thing with them and another person, because they love that toxic. They like to get in there and roll around in the mud and the toxicity. And that particular person is also toxic, so they're perfect for that. But they don't love them. So the narcissist views everybody as transactional. You were transactional, I was transactional, the next person is, and so is everyone before, and so is everyone after. So they don't view the world the same way that we do. They are literally delusional. Do you understand that delusional means you are not seeing reality clearly? You're not living in the reality. There's only one reality, just like there's only one truth. So people will say, tell them your truth. You got to stand on your truth. There's not your truth or my truth. There's just the truth. There's one truth in situations. There's one reality in situations. Delusional thinking means you don't see reality, and you often don't see the truth either. So they are not sitting back with a calculator at all times thinking, I need to do this and this and this and this, and now I'm going to triangulate and cheat, and now I'm going to go silent. This is who they are. This is their nature. And does that mean that they're not culpable? No, of course they are. Because how did they get to that situation? How does one come to such a pass where they are so low on empathy, they're so careless, thoughtless, so self-centered, self-absorbed, tunnel vision on everything, view people as disposable, think you're doing the same things they are when you're not? They come to that conclusion by corruption. Step by step, incrementally, bit by bit, they get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and more delusional. So this is why I would also say, if you believe the narcissist is rationally thinking through situations the same way you are, they're not. They're assessing the situation you were with the same way you are. They're not. They can't. So understand, there's not really any talking sense into them. There's not really any changing them outside of miraculous events that might be possible, but are almost certainly improbable. Meaning a full spiritual transformation, a full spiritual makeover, a renewing of the mind. That's how you get a delusional person back on track, if it can be done, is a renewing of the mind. And some of them are so gone that they're seared. They're reprobate. So the narcissist goes through the world just by nature viewing reality completely different than you do. What you think is so hurtful, they don't really even care about, usually, because they're not that concerned. They don't even, sometimes I swear, they don't even look at the stuff they do to you as wronging you. Sometimes they do. But when you are that much about yourself, you can't even experience the needs of others or have empathy for somebody else or put yourselves at all in their shoes because you're not capable of viewing things in such a way to do that. So the narcissist, they believe in getting everything they can. Get what I can get for me. Do what's right for me. Everybody is out for everybody. The person I'm with, they don't really care about me. They'll probably cheat. They'll probably screw me over. So I'm going to do those things. And if I'm doing those things, then they're doing those things, which I know is circular. But that's the delusional mind of the narcissist. This is another reason why I promise you, you really shouldn't even get that upset about this stuff. Just cut them loose, move on, but understand they weren't even methodically thinking through the world the same way you were. You're dealing with somebody who's not even a real person in a sense. In a matter of speaking, they're not even a real individual. They're almost soulless. Many of them are soulless. They don't want the same things you do. They don't think the same things you do. And they don't live the same way you do. So guys, I hope this sheds some light on why they do what they do, how they really approach the world, and why honestly you shouldn't take it that personally. They're not even viewing reality the same way you are. So whatever they do really don't matter. So anyway, guys, hope this was helpful. Drop comments below. Come at you with another one soon. Till then, God bless.